days, like a rig crew, a frac crew, whatever. Wireline, yes. Because that circadian rhythm, when the body actually wants to be asleep or when it wants to rest. That's why most grade schools and, well, all schools, they're done about 3:30 because that's about the attention span of the folks. That's when the little ones are saying enough's enough. And we go through that our own selves as adults. If you have any kind of medical conditions, too, it can bother you. Sleep apnea, that kind of thing. If you're on prescription medication, it can also enhance fatigue. And over-the-counter stuff, alcohol, drugs, that can enhance it. Some of those micro sleeps that they've studied that you think you fall asleep for 5-10 seconds, the average is about 45 seconds to a minute. So you've traveled a tremendous amount of distance. Remember, we watched the one driver for 7 solid minutes asleep on 387 before it went on its side. If you find yourself taking shortcuts on things that you've done all the time, over and over and over again, or it's just not making sense to you, that's a big sign that fatigue set in. And if you find yourself acting out of character, getting really moody, mad over things that usually don't set you off, that's usually a fatigue situation there. If you get to the point where you don't even recognize brake lights in front of you, it's really time to get out of that truck because your reaction time is going to be a whole lot slower. These are some common signs of fatigue that you guys know yourself better than anybody. That if these things come in, something's not right. It's time to stop. Get sufficient rest. And in some of those same studies, they say the average in their studies is 7.5 hours of uninterrupted deep sleep. And remember, the body goes through at least 3 different cycles, or 5 cycles, should have 3 complete cycles in a good rest period. Don't let that sleep debt build up. Take time for yourself to do rest properly. You know, we do take frequent breaks. We don't, not like the over-the-road guy that's behind the windshield for 7.5 straight hours. Maybe a couple hours and you're out moving around, you're doing things, so you do have some walk-around time. Don't figure you're going to be too productive if you have Thanksgiving dinner and jump in the truck and try to work. You're going to be asleep before you hit the 210. We are starting to get warmer here again, so it looks like we don't have much of a spring from wet to hot temperatures again, so be aware of that. Be careful of the caffeine drinks because it can zap you and make you more susceptible to heat stress. Use some sunscreen when you're out there. Be aware that if you're in sand and all that kind of stuff, concrete, more radiant heat for you. It affects you more. Build up a heat tolerance a little bit. It takes some time, but you can get there. And hydrate. Make sure you stay hydrated really well. Texas crude, they're averaging right now about 6,033 barrels a day for the last 2 weeks. And right now, Wyoming, you're averaging 56,041 a day for the last 2 weeks. And water, 5,425 barrels a day. One thing we wanted to talk about, a lot of stuff seen on social media from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. Some things that are, one, in violation of our own company standards and rules. TikTok have pictures of guys shooting video driving the truck down the road with the camera hanging out the window where you can actually see Prairie logo. Remember, when we went through all the producer orientations, they have all said no photography on our locations without our permission, and we get to review the pictures before they get posted anywhere. Samson, Ballard, Devon, Chesapeake's big on it. So you don't want to get caught up in some of that stuff because it can bite us. But when we see the pictures, you know, not even at the controls, in the trucks, all of that, it could have detrimental effects. You don't want to go there. Didn't get Kyle's operations stuff yet, so what else you got?
Did we talk about Sinclair?
No, not yet.
Is it coming out?
Here, hey, Devin, hand me that Sinclair form, would you? I'll catch that if you want to do your other stuff.
That's what I had.
This is what? Okay, Sinclair, this is dated June 28th. And this came to Alan from the Sinclair office. It says, after reviewing our crude terminal operations, a few things have come to our attention that Sinclair Transportation Company needs to address. Water shutoffs continue to be an issue, especially at the Casper terminal. The locks are designed to lock out when a driver attempts to unload water. This requires an operator to come to the facility and manually flush the system for unloading to continue. These water callouts are caused by incorrect grindouts, cost our organization time and money. In addition, Sinclair Transportation and Sinclair Crude Company are being charged demurrage while trucks wait in line during these service disruptions. Beginning July 1st of 19, we will charge a water lockout fee of $250 for each lack shut out by water. No demurrage fees will be accrued for 6 hours after a lack has been locked out by water. Demurrage will also not be paid due to ice-blocked strainers or damage caused to the facility by driver negligence. All non-emergency calls outside of normal business hours from 7 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday now must come through the shift supervisor or dispatcher. Non-emergency after-hour phone calls have been excessive. Filtering mundane phone calls to the supervisor should help limit calls to only essential communications. Finally, pets are not officially allowed on the Sinclair facilities, but cleaning up after your pet is required. And if you have any questions about these changes, you guys can talk to Kyle or Alan, and they can address them to the Sinclair folks. That's kind of all I had right at the moment.
Questions?
Does that mean nobody gets paid wait times for 6 hours?
Demurrage is only paid off of what we can charge the customer. So if somebody brings in water, it's costing everybody.
So Black gets shut down, nobody for 6 hours gets any wait time?
It's still under talks, but the way demurrage works is demurrage is based off what we can charge. We're still in talks about the rest of it, but for the most part, that's how demurrage works.
So if it's like a Rocky Mountain guy or Falco guy that shuts
That
it
doesn't
down?
affect us.
Okay.
I mean, so if there's a line 10 trucks long and there's one lack that's shut down,
Because
no,
somebody
the
brought in
other
water.
3 lacks are in use, you're still not going to get paid wait time? 'Cause
Hold
one
on,
of them's
what
down?
do you mean? Yeah, if one goes down, there's 3 in use, 10 people in line. No, we don't get paid demurrage for 6 hours. That's what the letter says.
Kim?
The only thing I have is if you have any new drivers or any of the CDL school guys, if you haven't got your fuel cards yet, come and see me. I have a bunch of those that need to go out.
Brent?
Well, just the whole water thing is an issue. Make calls. Don't just do something and leave. Because when we have to deal with something after the fact, it becomes an issue. A lot of times, I take 100 phone calls before I have to get chewed because we didn't do something right.
So there's no more driver calling whoever is the on-duty person? If a lack is down?
Yeah. So
they call you?
if you guys shut it down, call me.
Or if it's
Jamie
already
or
shut
Jamie.
down?
I mean, there are certain things that you have to call.
Yeah.
Low density alarm.
Yeah.
Doesn't do
Yeah.
It doesn't do good to call anybody else except for lacked operator. No choice cancel. There's only one person who can fix that, who's ever on shift. Outside of that, call your supervisor first to see if they can help troubleshoot whatever is going on.
What about the times that they're timing out because they're running so slow that we can't even get our loads off?
Can't you just reset it and start over?
Yeah, I mean, they just really need to get them cleaned out.
Yeah, but you don't call somebody at 3 o'clock
No,
in
I-
the morning to say
No, I wouldn't.
you need to clean your strainer. That's
We
not
should. Maybe they do it. Maybe they do it during the day. Because it's all lax right now.
right.
All the strainers are all fogged up because Campbell's running super slow.
Yeah, well, I read notes all the time, so you can let the supervisor know, and they pass it off, and they call the, I can call Mitch in the morning when I get to work, and I see that that's going on, or Mike. but not in the middle of the night.
No.
That's not a phone call that needs to be made. And I don't know what they mean by mundane questions. Like, I don't know if you guys at night are calling to ask them what the favorite movie they saw last weekend was.
What do you wear?
Like, I don't know what he means by mundane, and I couldn't really get specifics, so it makes it difficult. The biggest thing is, did you open your fire valve? Yes, I did. I show up, fire valve still shut. Oh, I swear I opened it. That's the one thing that he says he sees all the time. So that's a big one. Check, make sure all your valves are open.
So if that 6-hour wait period happens, is Prairie gonna pick up any more wait time?
We're still in talks about it, but like I said, the way Demerge works is it's based off of what you can charge the customer.
And I guess on the water note, at what point is, like the other day I did 17 load samples on a starter.
Mm-hmm.
At what point is it silly to start keep doing it? I mean, I did it from 10, 20 all the way up to 120 barrels. I mean, is that too much, or am I?
I don't know. I'm safe than sorry. You know.
You know what time it takes to take that many samples?
Yes, I do.
Especially if you shut down. Could cost you a little bit.
I know, but that's the load.
Can we like stop bringing in the Casper?
No, because I don't want to buy bad oil. Period. I don't care if it can go to Campbell. I don't care if it can go to Pronghorn. We cannot buy bad oil and take it somewhere else because we'll just end up in the same situation we're at with Sinclair. Eventually. They're going to catch on.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tighten it down.
And if you guys are having issues with these pumpers on location, call one of us. We'll come visit.
No, I was on location one night waiting on the unspoken phone call.
I don't.
Supervisor in it. I mean, and I ended up slightly arguing with the pumper because he was saying that where I took my samples from was the problem. Because I took them off the truck and I should have taken them from the Getty box. And that if I open the tank back up and pull it from the Getty box, everything would be fine because that's how it's worked in the past. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I found 1.5%, 10 barrels in. Like,
Yeah. But don't fight it. Yeah, no, don't fight out there by yourselves with those guys. Call us. Jamie and I are perfectly willing to go tell them where the bus stop is. Because
We cannot buy bad oil.
no, yeah,
Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that look like idiots because we bought bad oil. Doesn't matter that they forced you into it or they conned you into it or whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We hauled the water.
that's why I wouldn't open it back up, but I still spent 75 minutes there and left with 11 barrels. The samples in the beginning were fine, and then I started loading and pulled mobile samples, and the first one was crap. So I shut it back in, but it's a lot of time wasted for 11 barrels, and you have to drive someplace else to get the load.
because it's easier for them to doctor the oil than it is to do their job, and that's what they're doing.
I got a question. What happened to all the meter trailers in North Dakota? Did they go to Texas or?
No. They're a waste of money because they're not legal. You just can't hook up, and BLM hasn't approved it. No state has approved it yet. It's just, I guess it was more there to double check your work. I don't know. We took them all apart and we were selling the Coriolis units and stuff. So.
Well, and if you guys are, and on my days off, I don't always watch my work phone, but I'll check it occasionally. If I'm on days off, you guys can always text and tell me you're having issues. Because if you can't get a hold of Jamie and you can send me a text, I'll make phone calls. So it ain't no big deal. But yeah, the oil, it's not our job to haul bad oil, nor should we. And it's like, so you guys aren't alone out there. Jamie and I will do it. We'll help you.
We have explained that rejects are going to go up. because nobody's going to take a chance of bringing anything remotely close back to Casper.
I know.
And
I did 17 foot load myself because I was on the Casper with it. So
I mean, ask Darren McFarland how many samples he takes off every crow he goes to. He knows that crows are an issue. You know, Stoddards are an issue. Right?
So what's the next year, like 0.2, 0.3 or something? Or?
0.3. If it's 0.3 water, anything over 0.3 is rejectable. 0.4 is rejectable.
and if it's settling and you haul 0.3, you're gonna get that lack over here, a big mouthful of water, and you're gonna shut it down.
All right, and come wintertime, when we talk about ice and sludge and all that crap, everybody should have witches hats. I've already started ordering a few each month, so by the time it turns cold, everybody should have their own witches hat on their truck. And it's the same deal. If you clog up the witch's hat, seal it back up. I took my half a barrel and I'm off to the next one.
That happened to me at the Home Draw 15-1.
Happened a lot.
Samples.
You know,
Perfect.
half these trucks that were out here was just because of ice chunks. So we're going to avoid it this year. You can load with witch's hats, you can't reject. You have to load, you have to leave a ticket for what you took and move on. I don't know how else to test for oil before you cut the seal for ice chunks. Scuba. Steve.
Well, that's all we had. Appreciate it. I'm sure the guys are going to ask what happened to the online when that thunder and lightning hit. We're still stuck. Our internet went down.
That's not good.
There's sound up. Uncle texted me.
There's sound?
Yeah.
Okay. But we appreciate it, guys.